Hello and welcome to Locator Gaming. I'm Zach. So today I'm going to be starting a playthrough of this game, Lands of Galzyr. So from my understanding, this is pretty much purely just a open world exploration story game. There isn't, at least what I can have read so far, there isn't like a big baddie at the end. There's not like different scenarios or missions that you're going through fighting bad guys. I mean, there are quests, so there are things to do, but it's not like you're just trying to get through a set of like 21 scenarios or 30 playthroughs and then the game is over. It seems like you just explore the world. So this is going to be kind of a little bit of a change of pace from the other stuff that I'm working on to get on the channel. I have a lot of stuff that I'm painting, so it's going to be like a flood of campaign games starting on the channel. And while I have stuff drying in the painting area, I thought I'd get in some adventures, like in the Lands of Galzyr. So there's a lot to go through. There's going to be a lot of talking, and like I said, this is really just like an exploration and story game. So I haven't played it yet. I've read the rule book once, so there might have to be some things that I look up in there. I shouldn't say might. There's probably going to be, definitely. Probably going to be, definitely. That's a good definitive sentence I've put together there. There was quite a bit of setup. The game has quite a few cards. So there's this whole tray of cards. There's another tray that you use to like save the game, because each session is played for a set number of days. And those number of days are depending upon if you want to play solo or cooperatively, which are the same, or competitively. And that can change from session to session to session. You don't have to play like a whole campaign through the same way. I have chosen to play two characters, even though I'm just playing by myself. You could play true solo. I'm playing two characters at a time just because I want to see more of the game during each session. I might change up some characters as I go, because characters can come in and out whenever. You can add players whenever. It's a pretty flexible game. So if I'm playing cooperatively this time, I might play competitively against myself at some time in the future. You use this particular card, and there is some green on it, so you're going to see some see-through there. Harmony, reach your true potential by ignoring needless distractions. If you play solo or cooperatively, or return this card to the global area of the save thing. And this down here, if you're playing with two players, says to put the X on 7 days. And what this thing here is, there are these matching token things. There's a bunch of different ones. I've put a couple of them out here, and I've got more off to the side in baggies. So I just randomly like selected these little tokens, which will represent this particular card. So you put that on here, and then when the game starts, the game is going to tell us what day of the week down here we start on. This thing will go 7 days out for two players. During the initial like unboxing of the game, there was some other stuff that we did to set up for the first play. And one of the things was you had to roll this D12 to see what month of the year we were going to start in. And I rolled a 1, so we're starting in January. So we have this January card. It's freezing outside, and leaving the hearth without proper clothing or thick fur is a foolish notion. Those that do not brave the cold, however, are greeted by breathtaking sceneries of pristine wintry beauty. Use the winter side of the board of both the game board and location cards. Down here at the bottom, this means when we save the game, when we're done, we're going to replace this card with 002, which is February. So we are on the winter side of the board, and I have the location cards. They're kind of hard to see, but underneath each of these blue banners is a location card. And there are also dots on here. I have a couple of zoomed in scenes which are a little bit better, so you can kind of see there's a location card here, and they have a winter and a, I don't know, spring, summer side. I don't know what the other side is called actually. And I guess I can show it up close. These have some things you can do while you're there. You can go to the temples, which would take you to story entry 1, 2 would be gardens, 3 would be to go to the market. Gives a little bit more information. It tells you where it goes on the board. This particular location only has 1 card. It's still 1 location. But like this city down here has 3 cards, but it's still 1 location, still 1 big spot. 2 cards over here. So like I said, underneath each of these blue banners, and then there's the other half of the board down here, is a location. And then there's also spots on the way on the road, because during your turn you can move 2 spaces. Also randomly during setup at the beginning, when you're first unpacking the game, there's a little quest area of our little card box here in front of this purple or behind this purple divider. There's a bunch of quest cards that you start the game with, and you're supposed to shuffle those up, and then the front 3 become your first 3 random quests that are available. So we can see what we got, and then when you put those out, you look at the location that it says. So this one is in Arin, and you put one of these quest markers on the location so that you know that there's a quest you can pick up there. There's a public side and then a private side. The private side is kind of spoilery. It tells you what you're supposed to do during the quest, but you're only supposed to have this public side face up. What is that second word? A Gemcidian? It must be a type of inhabitant of this world. A Gemcidian of high status has gone missing. A job is available for a discreet and trustworthy individual, posted by the Royal Bodyguard. And you're always going to have 3 of these available. So if somebody picks one up, you got to refill it immediately. So there's one in Teshun. A chance to earn money for an apt individual with nerves of steel. Oh, and folks who lack manners shouldn't bother. Okay. That one was in Teshun, which is here. And Maratu. Help wanted to free the oppressed Arhin from the yokes of tyranny. Do you value personal rights and freedom? Help us bring about a new era of equality, the common folk of Arhin. Oh, that's interesting. It says the common folk of Arhin, but this quest is here in Maratu. This kind of just looks like a little station, little town, or small like inn or village or something. So on your turn, the turn structure is as follows. This is a very, very simple game. This game, it seems to lie in doing the scenes, what are called scenes, in unraveling the story of this world and the individual story of the characters. You have an adventure phase and a calendar phase in a round. So each character will take a turn, and then once all the characters have gone, and they go in order, you're supposed to have this first player marker to mark who's first, but I'm just going to have Boomir, I think it's Boomir, and Kiradai. So Boomir is going to be our first player. It doesn't rotate around the table. It's always the same person each round. You travel as the first thing for your turn, and then you do a story, which is resolving a scene. So when you travel, you can take up to 2 steps on the board. While you're traveling, in between those steps, at any point, you can pick up quests. You can trade gold with other players. You can trade items with other players if you're on the same space. And it's not like you have to travel and then trade. You could like go 1 space and then trade and then go your second space. But you got to get all your travel and trading and picking up quests and stuff out of the way first. And then you do a scene. And doing a scene means you can pick from any of the available scene numbers, either where you are or on your quest cards that you have picked up or that you already have, which we'll look at. So just as an example, we will look at the 2 quests that the characters started with. And I actually had those guys backwards. had their cards backwards. So Kiradai here starts with Test of Will. You've been summoned to Galzyr by your old associates. The details were scarce, but it seems that the matter concerns Sophron, your late squirrel colleague and friend. So this card also tells us that during setup, do not place your figure on the game board and cannot be abandoned. And then what this down here means, this is a mandatory scene. So if we have this in our possession, we have to do this one. We can't pick anything else. So that will be the first scene that Kiradai does. And then each character also starts with one special unique power for them. And it's very green. You've spent decades honing your mind into a weapon of analytical brilliance. When truly tested, you find approaches others could barely comprehend. Before a skill check, you may discard to replace the tested skill with a skill of your choice, which is pretty sweet, and we'll talk about that later. So you get to use this like once per game. Discard means to put it back into this big box here is called the library. And then they're on Kiradai's player board, on all of them actually. So here's Kiradai. This one's actually very green. There's a couple of things to note. So Kiradai has some tags here, Scholar and Swim. Starts with 10 gold, but this little symbol here means that when you save the game, when you're done with this particular session, you take your 0/0 card from the library, so you get it back for next time. And then Kiradai has the following starting skills. So there's like 2 in knowledge, 1 in, I think this is like communication or something like that. And this is perception. And then we have, this is like thievery, I think, fighting, and survival. And we'll talk about how these work when skill checks, when we do the first skill check. So good at knowledge. Kiradai is going to be good at knowledge. And then Boomir here is going to be good at survival, has 1 in fighting and 1 in thievery, has tags explorer and scent. And then his starting quest following a map, you've come to Galzyr in search of treasure. Business as usual, but what surprises could the place you grew up in possibly offer? And then also this is another do not place your figure on the game board, because this is their starting quest. And then unyielding spirit, a life of adventure has shaped you, made you resilient and defiant. In a dire situation when others would yield, your inner strength surges forth. Before revealing outcomes, you may discard to replace your dice pool with the dice below, roll them, and use the result. So there's 2 orange, 2 yellow, and 4 black. Normally you only get 5 dice total. So this is 8 dice, and they're very specifically 2 fighting and 2 survival. So that's a pretty good skill, even though Boomir is already pretty strong in both survival and fighting. This is actually just more dice, more chance to roll stuff. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it to start with. There's also an event deck over here, but we will talk about this event deck when it comes up. Event decks are basically if you are on one of these other spots on the map that's not like a location and you don't have another quest to do, you draw an event card to do an event. Because your quest cards usually tell you have to be in a specific spot to do it, I think, I'm assuming. Okay, so the big thing for this game is the adventure book. There's going to be a lot of switching scenes for me, so I hope we get all of this correct. So here's the Book of Adventures. and we will start a new game. So we tell it that this is January, and it's going to tell us that we start on Sunday. And I think that's all we're going to do in the Book of Adventures right now. We'll come back here in a really quick though. Okay, so we go back to here. We put our day marker on Sunday. Then we have to remember this is 7 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. So the end of this particular game session is going to be the following Sunday. That's what this marker means. So if any other markers get put on here, they get put on top of what's there, unless I guess we're told otherwise. And if you run across markers, you're supposed to handle them like from the top down, is what I think I remember the rules saying. Let me turn the music down on this app. Because I do not want YouTube to think that that is something that they need to flag the video for. Okay. So I think that's it for setup. Oh, I'll just say one other thing. I do have the neoprene mat for this, which is actually underneath the board. But the ends on the winter side were really curling up. So I'm trying to flatten it out. I will put more weight on it later. But I'm using the board right now because the ends were like really curling, which is kind of disappointing. But it is what it is. Okay, let's just start. So I think I'm going to call him Boomir. He's a marbled polecat. Oh, you know what? Since this is a story game, I guess we should talk about their stories. It's very brief. So Boomir's says, Boomir is a tough as nails polecat who is no stranger to adventures. He's been on one for decades. A fearless, wandering soul, he's always after the next forgotten ruin or buried treasure that catches his eye. His latest find has led him to Galzyr, the home region he left behind a long time ago. So he's a polecat. This area in the world is supposed to be like a polecat area. So we might run across a lot of NPC polecats in the game. Kiradai is a northern banded newt. So this is in the world of, is it Dale of Merchants? Is that the game? There's 2 other games. And I apologize, I can't remember what they are right now. But there are 2 other games in this world that have these like animal folk characters in them that are actually, I really like the art from this game. Anyway, so Kiradai is a scholarly newt keen on uncovering the mysteries of the world. Yearning for something to challenge her immense cognitive abilities, she typically follows trails of breadcrumbs left in ancient manuscripts. However, a curious request has lured her away from her books into the Middle East and into Galzyr. So Galzyr is supposedly this place in the world where Europe and Asia meet near the Black Sea, where there's like a lot of adventures for some reason. People come here to adventure. Okay, now I think we're just ready to start. So we will start a round, and Boomir is first. He's not on the board, so remember I said the first thing you do is travel. He's not on the board though, so he can't travel, so he's got to do his Buried Secrets story. And it says on here to go to 84 in the Book of Adventures. So when you see things in the game, and it says this in the rule book, the Book of Adventures entries will always have 4 digits, and cards have 3. And some cards might have a symbol in front of them, like this one, that's Boomir's little tiny face. That means this is his 111 card, because there are multiple 111 cards with the number 111, but you have to find the one for that particular character. Okay, so we go here, and it said 84. You can put it in here. Oh, shoot. I have to remember that my keypad is linked to scene switching, so I have to use those numbers. You can also scroll over here, but there are a lot of storybook entries. So you can scroll over here and click on it. Okay. After a long trek, your objective finally looms on the horizon. The crumbling walls of a town ravaged by war. From what you've heard, it was once populated by marbled polecats like you. But now the buildings have collapsed and buried those memories beneath decades of dust. Only mundane mortal dangers remain, but perhaps something else lies there as well, like a worthy adventure if your map is to be believed. You grin and pick up your pace. If there's anything to be found in the tunnels below, you'll find it. That is what you promised yourself. Move the adventurous figure to Shun. Okay, so it's telling us that we are starting here, and I can show you what it looks like here in the winter. And I'm just looking to see if it's the same for both winter and whatever the other season is called, maybe summer, I guess. It's got ruins, so if we were here, we could choose to do that storybook entry, or we could also do the camp storybook entry. But we're in the middle of a scene right now, so we're doing that one. And the other cool thing is that there's a quest to pick up here if we wanted to on a future turn. There's this quest we could pick up. Okay. And the next thing we're doing is head inside the ruined town. As you approach Shun, you take in the sights. This is the first time you've been back to Galzyr in years. In fact, you've actively avoided the place after you left at a young age. You swore to pursue the greatest adventures relentlessly, living a life of no regrets, and that's what you've done. Oh, so one other thing. There are these underlined things in the story, which are things you can click on to like see more information about it. So this is telling you about marbled polecats. Then this next sentence talks about ocelots. So these are just like character like species or races, I guess, in the world. However, a while back you ran into an ocelot gambler who insisted there's treasure hidden below Shun. Despite your skepticism, you set out at once. Otherwise, you might miss something big, and you cannot bear the thought of that. Your gaze wanders back to the crumbling but still suffocating looking walls. Whatever challenges this place has for you, you'll persevere. For you came prepared. Then it says, give a random 100 card from the library to the adventurer, and give a random 200 card from the library to the adventurer. Okay. So we go into our big library of cards, and there are a ton of cards that are labeled 100. These are obviously items, so I'm going to shuffle them up. And then we'll just take one. Let me put the rest back, and we also get, it said, a random 200 card. So it's kind of starting us off with some items that can help us on our adventure. Mission quest thingy is what I think the Hobbit said in Fellowship of the Ring. Okay, so those are our 2 cards we just got awarded. And you can have, there you have 3 item slots. I think you have to just return, if you get more, you have to return something to the library, this big box of cards. Okay, so we got a monocle. It has a gold value of 7. So it has a tag of reading, enhancing eyesight while looking dapper. It's a favorite piece of apparel for any dignified green magpie. So this also has brown verbs on it. So if we run across things in the storybook that are like search checks or intimidate checks, we can just get a success. And if we have an unlock check, we get to re-roll a die on a skill check. So that's cool. So there's an item for for Boomir. And here we've got some refreshing juice. Freshly squeezed, strong juice can have an intense effect on your mental and physical capabilities. In a survival skill check, you may discard that to get 2 successes. If we're doing something that says recall, we can discard it to get 1 success and reroll up to 2 dice. So this might actually be an item worth trading to Kiradai, since we're playing cooperatively, because Boomir has already got good survival. So this could help fill a gap here for Kiradai, who has no survival, no points in like survival down here. Okay, so back to our book. We got our 2 random cards. You find an entrance to the tunnels easily enough and smile as the invigorating aroma of stale air hits you. It's the familiar smell only old ruins like this have. It makes you feel at home, or so you think. You aren't exactly sure what that's like. Nevertheless, the map you've got stops here. Although calling it a map is a bit generous. It's poorly drawn, smeared and utterly unreliable, just the way you like it. You'd have to rely on your wits from now on. However, someone has drawn a scribble to the side depicting a symbol of some kind carved on a wall. It could be an ocelot face, but you cannot be sure. Perhaps you should try that. Reminder, after the adventurer chooses an option, select it before they resolve the skill check. So we could explore the ruins, which is a medium survival check, or we could search for more markings, which is an easy perception check. But just as a reminder, we don't have any inherent things in perception, but we do have 1 in thievery. And the way that the dice work in this game, so if we look, let's just talk about skill checks real quick. On a normal skill check, you start with the 5 basic dice, and then you can replace those with dice that you have in any of your skill areas. If you use, like, let's say this pink one, so these skill points, the dice that are in that skill point are great for that particular type of skill check, and they're okay for skill checks that are adjacent. So this thievery one is adjacent to perception. This pink is adjacent to the purple. So if we look at the pink die here, the regular dice have 1 of each of the 6 on it. So just a 1 in 6 chance of getting whichever skill that you need. If you're rolling a die in the particular area that's the color of the die, so like thievery is pink, it has 2, and let's zoom in. It has 2 successes on it for thievery, but it also has 2 sides that are 2 successes. It also has 2 sides of each of the adjacent skills. So perception is an adjacent skill, so it has 2 sides. That's 1 success for perception, and like attacking or combat or might or whatever it is also an adjacent skill. It has 1 for those. So because Boomir has 1 thievery, I could replace one of these black dice with a pink die, and then this pink die has a 2 in 6 or 1/3 chance of getting a success. So this is where you have to make the choice. Do I want to explore the ruins, which would be medium, which means you need more successes in a survival check, where we have more dice that we can replace to get better chances of getting successes. The other thing you also want to look at is you want to look at your cards. So you look at the verbs kind of that are in the options. We have explore and we have search. So this is actually kind of interesting, because if we go back to our cards, we just got this monocle that tells us on a search, we automatically get a success. And this doesn't say we have to discard this card. So this was kind of a cool random pull. So I think we're going to try it. I think we're going to search. Even though it's a perception check, we have way more survival. I think we're going to search for more markings. So the way this works is if you had other kind of skills, they might say other things. Like if it's this type of check, do this kind of thing. I'm pretty sure you can only use your items one time. Let's just go to skill checks real quick. I do want to show you there's this neat little chart in the rule book actually for skill checks. You have a chance to use effects, then you roll dice, then you have a chance to use effects again, and effects could be from cards out on the board. Then in every single skill check, you always have the option to re-roll all dice one time. It's not you get to pick and choose which dice, you have to re-roll the entire dice pool. So you re-roll all dice, which is optional, and then you have a chance to use effects again. And I'm pretty sure that it says somewhere in here that you can only use them once, like the re-roll stuff. But you know what? I'll look it up if it becomes important. So we are trying to get the eye symbol because we are doing the search for more markings. So actually it says, after the adventure, choose an option selected before they resolve the skill check. So we have to select it. And since this is the very beginning of the game, it knows which character this scene or this quest or whatever is only available to Boomir. The game knows what Boomir started with. It knows it had to do it. So this is just kind of maybe a little tutorial-y, kind of. It's actually telling us there that the best we could do for our dice pool is 1 pink and 4 black. So that's cool. But before we click reveal outcomes, we have to roll our dice and see what we get. So remember, from our card on a search, we are automatically starting with 1 success. And we got 1 more. So we got 2 successes. And I think I'm going to be happy with that because it's an easy test. I think I'm going to be happy with 2 successes. So we reveal outcomes. So 3+ would have been the best, but we got in the middle, 1 to 2. And I think the reason that they have that rule in there where you're not supposed to click reveal outcomes until you're done rolling and everything is because right now, if I would have seen this before, I definitely would have pressed my luck and rolled and re-rolled everything because I knew that I automatically had 1 success from my item, so I knew I was already in this middle one. Why not re-roll all of them? You know, because the spread on those I don't think is always going to be the same. Okay, so we got 1 or 2. Of the several markings adorning the walls, you pick one that looks closest to your scribble to follow. You nearly lose the trail a few times but manage to eventually come across something. It's not treasure, however, rather a pile of rags and half-eaten, vile-smelling things. Someone actually lives here, and that someone stinks even worse. Why, Sunfolk here, calls a growling voice, as if rusted from disuse. From the back, a rat emerges, wearing similar dirty, tattered rags over his unkempt fur. He stares at you before nodding knowingly. Shiny looking? Is take to Boxstone? Then smelly Sunfolk leave home, yes? Okay. Intrigued, you follow the rat to another room, and to a heavy stone chest. It's locked by some old, still functional mechanism, and if the lock still works, so could any trap inside. Folks love to set those. When you turn back from the investigation, the rat is already gone. But no matter, time to get this chest open. So we have an unlock test, which is thievery, medium thievery. And we have a force the chest open, which is medium, like might or attack or whatever. All right, so also our monocle, we have an unlock here. Our monocle on an unlock check allows us to re-roll a die. So if we were to do thievery, because we have one in that, is that thievery skill? Does it say in the icons on the back? Yeah, it's thievery. So if we were to do thievery, we get our 1 pink and we can get an adjacent die. So that would be our dice pool. If we did the force the chest open, it's a medium might check. Might is here. So we could get 1 orange, 1 pink, and 2 yellow. Because yellow is adjacent, yellow has 2 might things on it. So I think I'm going to go with the might. Force the chest open. Just because it's a better dice rolling pool, even though we have the thing on our card on an unlock. Yeah, I think we'll go with this. So we do have to tell this that we are going to force the chest open. Yeah, and it's actually telling us because it still knows which character we are and that this is the very beginning of the game. It's the best, the adventurer's best available dice pool. Okay. So we're looking for sword symbols here. That's weird. Oh, they were stuck together. We only got 1. We got nothing on any of the dice that are supposed to have more sword symbols. And this is a medium check, so we're going to re-roll this. We have to re-roll everything. And we have nothing else to help us. And we ended up getting 0. All right. This is not going to be good. You have to really lean in and put all your strength into it. And when the lid finally cracks and swings open, you fall in face first. On instinct, you shield your face as an old mechanism strikes a deep gash in your arm before collapsing. But never mind that, you find yourself lying next to something more interesting. Lying atop what looks to be long decayed junk, you see an oddly familiar stone pendant. It shows a mountain peak with a sun behind it. You think you've seen it before, a long time ago. Why is it here? You have to find out. Pulling yourself and the pendant out, you ignore the pain in your bleeding arm. You can't afford more mistakes like that, because something much more dangerous awaits in Rheinstum. You earn 1 prestige. So the whole point of the game is to earn prestige. Maybe not the whole point. The point also is to uncover the story, but prestige, I guess, kind of tracks how well you are doing. So I guarantee you, if we, I shouldn't say guarantee you, I'm betting that if we had done better on this roll, we would have gotten more prestige. Like if we wouldn't have gotten wounded, maybe if we would have gotten whatever the top one was, 4+ successes, maybe we would have gotten 3 prestige. I don't know. Instead of just 1. But I'm betting that something will be different at the end of the game, at the end of each session, based on how much prestige you get. And when you play competitively, you're trying to get them more prestige than the other person. So Boomir now has 1 prestige. Return buried secrets, 111, from the adventurer to the library. Okay, so we take that part, or that card, and put it back in the library. Give card 53 from the library to the adventurer. and give card 218 the special one with his face on it. To 18 it says. We'll look at all these in just a second. And card 53, you do have to check to make sure there's only one, or are they all the same? Oh, okay, so this is actually going to affect the game now because we rolled so poorly. So card 53 is a wounded card. So now we have the tags injured and wary. You've seen better days. The best course of action would probably be to avoid physical strain or seek treatment from a medical professional. So in thievery, might, and survival skill checks, we get one less success. What does that say? What's that symbol? Oh, at a town and not in a scene, you can spend 2 gold to hasten 1. All right, so let's talk about this for a second. Hasten 1. So this has a timer on it of 3. So this is going to go into Boomir's stuff. We need some matching tokens. And we go 1, 2, 3 days out. So in 3 days' time, this card will get discarded. And also on save, it will get discarded. So what hasten means is we could spend 2 gold to move this forward a day. I'm pretty sure it's 1 day. Or does it say on there? Hasten 1, yeah, so hasten 1 is 1 day. It'll say how fast you can move it up. There's also the opposite of that is delay, where you can make stuff take longer, but on a wound. So I guess that's to symbolize if you're in a town, in a place that has that symbol, that town symbol, like here, 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 here. Tashun is not one of those places. Hazembe is. Moratu is not, but Arin also is. It's like going to a place to get medical treatment, I guess. The other card that we got is part 2 of Buried Secrets. The pendant wasn't what you expected to find in the ruins of Tashun, as it's strangely familiar. There's a place in Rheinstum where you might find answers. However, obtaining that information carries a heavy risk. So this cannot be abandoned. And so what the bottom of this card means is if we are in Rheinstum, which is, I'm a total guess on how to pronounce it, we could do that scene. And what this little handshake thing means here is if there's another player character there, they can actually assist you. So in order to do that quest, we would have to travel over here and be in Rheinstum to do it. And then the book tells us that is the end of the scene. So when you end the scene, that's the end of that character's turn. Now this is the very start of the game. I don't think future turns are going to take particularly that long. Plus I was explaining stuff. Because that's like the start of the whole game kind of kickoff for that particular character. And each character has their own. So we go to the next person. I need to take a drink of my refreshing juice. So then we go to Kiradai's turn. Again, no travel because Kiradai's not on the board. So we look at Kiradai's only available quest. It's in the adventure book at 87. Just as a reminder, you got summoned back here by your old associates. So we go back here, and I have to remember to use these numbers up here. Metamorphosis, that's the word that springs to mind while you observe the approaching skyline from the ship's deck. The large dome shape of the library remains a distinct central figure, but the walled city around it has grown in unpredictable ways since you last visited. However, that doesn't exactly surprise you. Polecats are numerous here. Like in the entire region, they are an intriguing folk, very different from the northern banded newts like you. The locals especially seem to always push for change. Then again, you surmise a lot has stayed the same still. Perhaps you should seek out your old roommate, Chimi, if you have the time. A pelican sailor's shouting interrupts your introspection, announcing that the ship is preparing to dock. Move the adventurer's figure to Arhin. Figure back to the board. Arhin also has a quest available, which is kind of cool. We both can pick up another quest. Head to your cabin to prepare. As you pack, you think back to your time in Arhin, a born scholar just like your parents and grandparents. You were drawn here by the city's prestigious university and all the things you could learn. A particularly curious subject was the nature of animal folks. It wasn't exactly your field, but you lent your skills to the aid of Sofron, your squirrel teacher, friend, and an expert on hoarding data. The thing is, he died recently, and shortly after, you were summoned by Lanja, the chameleon who leads the university's council. You can't help but infer that the two things are likely related. You'll find out soon enough as you grab the rest of your baggage and head ashore, prepared to meet whatever academic challenges await. Give 2 random 150 cards from the library to the adventurer. So this is going to be Kiradai's starting stuff. And we'll just do this real quick. Take this one and this one. Put the remaining 150 cards. This reminds me a lot of like Seventh Continent. Like getting stuff from the box or whatever. Life in the Shadows. Very little is known about this mysterious codes with no known author. However, its contents are sure to unlock new avenues and approaches for a variety of sneaky situations. In thievery skill checks, you may re-roll up to 1 and convert 1 book into a success. Okay, that's good because Kiradai is really strong in, well, but in thievery checks, you wouldn't even be rolling green dice, would you? Also has the thievery and literature tags on it. And then we've got a black hat, which has a shady tag on it. The brim of a hat pointed low, shadow cast over the face. It's the classic mysterious and menacing look, but sometimes you just want to shield your eyes from harsh sunlight. On intimidate checks, or things with intimidate verb, we get a success and can reroll up to 1, and on explore, we can reroll up to 2. I'm pretty sure we can only do those once per check. Or, yeah, once per check. Which you have to decide if you're going to do that before or after you, I guess, before or after you do your big, massive reroll of everything. Okay, we did that. An hour later, you ascend the familiar stone steps of the university and step through the massive wooden doors. The inside is much like you remember, unlike the rest of the city. So you walk right into the council's wing and state your business to the beaver clerk there. You're early, she says, examining her papers. The council is still in the middle of a meeting, discussing Sofron's will. Interesting. You step towards the council room, but the beaver stops you. You'll have to wait. The protocol states you're not to be disturbed. At that, you feel a twinge of annoyance. Here comes the protocol, once again standing in your way and wasting your time, limiting your potential. How typical. We can sneak into the meeting with a thievery check, or we can intimidate the clerk to let us in, or we can wait until you're called for. We're not that great at thievery, but we can re-roll. We get a success on Intimidate because of our new black hat. We also get to convert books into a success, and we get a reroll from our book on Thievery. Do we want to go in early, or should we just wait? Here comes the protocol. Let's play it like... I want to intimidate the clerk to let us in. So, if we look at our player board, we're doing a not perception, it's a communication check. It's this one. So we would start with 5 dice, but we get to replace one with the light blue and neighboring stuff. So 1 with dark blue and 2 with green because it's neighboring. So this is our dice pool. And we're looking for faces, but because of our black hat, we automatically get 1 success, and we can do a reroll. We got 1 face here, so that's 2 successes. The test was a medium. I'm going to do our big, massive reroll of everything before I use the special. Whoops, where'd that go? There. Okay, so this is better. So we got 2, 3, and we get 1 reroll. And I'm not going to reroll the black one because that's a 1 in 6 chance. One of these green ones is a 2 in 6 chance. No. So we got these 3 plus our 1 from black hat is 4. Okay, so we got 3 plus. Well, with well-researched examples, you make it abundantly, excruciatingly clear to the beaver that disobeying her superiors is far preferable to disappointing you, and waiting around idly is against your nature, and therefore extremely disappointing. When you move to the door, the clerk doesn't dare speak a word in protest. As you're about to enter, you hear Lanja's voice, and the chameleon's words give you a pause. I've known both of you for a long time, she says. They'd never falsify research. The mere accusation, his will all but confirms it, another voice interrupts. Besides, Kiradai was young and uppity, and Sofron's methods were always controversial. Read the part again. To Kiradai I leave the true results of our research. Do with it as you will. The discussion continues, but you've heard enough. Feeling indignation building, it's time to make your voice heard, and you have the element of surprise on your side to make it especially weighty. If you slam, you can convert 1 thievery into a success. So we can either slam the table to show your displeasure, or we can recall your research with Sofron, which is a medium book test. So we are very bad at might checks, even though it is easy. On the might, yeah, so we have nothing for might. We have like no dice we can add for might. We have intimidate and explore verbs, and that's about it. And it's not a thievery check, so we cannot use our life in shadows. I think we'll do this medium book test because we have 2 of these and this. That will be helpful. So for the book test, I think this is our dice setup. This is a adjacent skill, and this is the actual test is medium. I think that's knowledge. So we click on this, Yeah, 2 green. Unless power of mind was used, yeah, so it knows that we have that power of mind ability that we're not using yet. Okay, let's roll these up, and we are looking for books. As many books as possible. And we got none, so we're just going to re-roll everything. The dice have not been great yet. Yeah, we didn't slam, so the thievery thing's not going to count. Okay, so we got 2. Hopefully that's like the middle one. We shall see. Yep, it's the middle one. The council looks surprised as you step forward and a little snappily explain how you compiled all the previous studies on the behavioral peculiarities of animal folks and how it was referenced to complement Sofron's empirical research. Everything was done in accordance with the university's policies that they're so proud of. Doubt fades from the council's faces as you speak, and they nod in approval when you finish your spirited report. Very good, Lanja says. Consider our worries dismissed. But what about Sofron's word? But what might Sofron's words mean then? On that, they aren't certain, but your natural curiosity is certainly piqued. You'll dig out the answer, however deep it is buried, and you'll start at Sofron's old study in Maratu. Earn 2 prestige. See, we got more prestige, I think, because our dice rolls were more successful than Boomir's dice rolls. Return test of will from the adventurer to the library. So, test of will part 1 is going back into the library. So this is going to be like the standard start for both of these 2 characters. And then give 224 from the library to the adventurer. So we have to find 224. Test of will. Yeah, this is the one with her face on it. And then end of scene. So 224. Your late friend Sofron dedicated something to you in his will. However, the excerpt was inconclusive, referencing the past research you did together. You should locate his remote study in Maratu to find more information. Cannot be abandoned. Visit the station. So Maratu, right over here. We didn't get a crazy status or anything like Boomir did, the wounded status. Okay, so that is the end of both of their turns. And then we go to the calendar phase. After everybody's taking a turn, we move the day token on here. And then we also move it in the storybook. I've not tried this, so do we just click? There, it moved. Then we go back to Boomir's turn. So I think Boomir is going to pick up that quest. And I don't know if there's a limit to quest cards. I don't know where it says. Pick up a quest. I don't know. I doubt it's not going to be like 2, so whichever. And Boomir wanted to go to Rheinstem, right? Okay, but we're going to pick up the quest that's here in Tishun. So it says, a chance to earn money for an apt individual with nerves of steel. Oh, and folks who lack manners shouldn't bother. So we're going to pick this up. And this is Collector Part 1. Some of the most esteemed parties for Arhan's elite are arranged by one of the ruling families. Some of the most esteemed parties for Arhan's elite are arranged by one of the ruling families, the Blue Mills. They possess the Golden Millstone, a relic I'd like to add to my collection one day. Here's an invitation card that gets you inside. Locate where they display the family heirloom and report back to me. Arltai, the Gray Marmot Collector. So, we can go to the party if we're in Arhan. We could do that scene. So it sounds like he wants us to like case the joint. And just tell him where this thing is. So now that we have taken a quest out of the notice board, it says to pick up a quest, your adventure figure must either be there, to abandon it. Oh, you can have a maximum of 3 quest cards. If you ever have 4 or more, you have to abandon it. That's what I was looking for before. And then whenever the notice board has 2 or fewer quests, immediately fill it back up to 3 from the front of the quest slot. So this is where I was telling you before about this quest slot in the library here. They've been shuffled, so we take from the front and refill it. And this is also in Arhan. Assistance in fund seeking required. Understanding the mind of a potential sponsor or patron appreciated, or deep pockets. Okay, so there are 2 quests available in Arhan. So we have our personal thing, the buried secrets here in Rheinstum. We also have this collector thing down here in Arhan. We also could just stay here and do one of the scenes that are on this card. I think we will, let's see, 1, 2, 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll take 4 days to get down here to do this party thing, or 2 days to just advance our own personal quest. Let's work on our personal quest first, then we can always go, we can go down out of Rheinstum. 1, 2, 3, it's still 4 days. Let's just do that. Let's have that be our current plan. So we're going to travel 2. Then you always have to do a scene. So if you don't have something else available to you, you draw an event card. And we're on like this grasslands looking type of territory. So we draw the top event deck, and we will not shuffle it again. I just wanted to make sure it was shuffled. And you go from the top down. Is it Saturday? No, it's actually Monday. Are we at a settlement? No. Are we at a grassland? Yes. So we're going to do scene 206. And then we will do something with this event card, whatever the scene tells us to do. Oh, I did it again. Sorry. Just hard for me to remember that I have to use the other numbers. 206 because we are in the grassland. Surprisingly, for this time of year, today has been rather warm. Snow over the roads have thawed, transforming the route into a mire of muck. See, it knows we're in winter, which is interesting because this card has nothing to do with winter. This is pretty cool. While you struggle your way down this infernal, messy slog, you come across a family of 6 Maras. What are Maras? Doesn't have a picture. Their wagon with heavy chest chained to it has become lodged in the mud. After introducing yourself to the oldest member of the family, she introduced herself as Jaya, Jay, and these are my kin, Palm, Lala, Yen, Bin, and Little Wella. Palm snorts while digging through the mud. If we could get the chests off, we could make our lives a whole lot easier. They're chained and locked to keep them safe from thieves. The family looks at you with hope. Do you have a survival tag? Okay, so this is where we have to look at all of our cards. We have Injured, Wary, Explorer, Scent, Drink, and Reading. No, we do not have a survival tag. Okay, we could force the wagon out of the mud, would be hard. We could unlock the chains, which would be medium, or we could let the family deal with the wagon. Even though this is a hard test, I think we're going to do that because that is the one that gets us the most special dice. However, on both of these tests, we're going to have a -1 success because of our wounded card. Let's do unlocking the chains. We get a reroll on unlock because of our monocle. I mean, we could use our special to get a lot of dice. I don't know if this is like super important check though. So let's just do the hard one because we get a lot of dice for that. So no special things it's telling us, which is fine. That's fine. Everything's fine. So we get 1 orange, 2 yellow, a pink, and then we round out our 5 with 1 black. Okay. And what was this? This was a force. We have recall, unlock, search, and intimidate. No. And we automatically get -1 because of our wounds. I don't think we'll be re-rolling this. We've got 4, which goes down to 3. I think that's going to be okay, even though this is a hard check. We will go with 3. If any gunpowder items were used, all swords count as guns instead. No, they were not. 3 to 4 is the 3 to 4 might here. So the way this is supposed to also work, the rulebook says you have to go from left to right on these and pick the first one that applies. This interesting. I wonder if we accidentally could have blown up their wagon. But we got 3 to 4. The whole Mara family joins you in trying to move the wagon. They stand on their front paws and put their powerful legs against the wagon. Everyone ready? Yen asks. Then everyone responds with a yes, he yells. Now, putting in as much effort of each of the other family members, you help them push the wagon out of the mud. As the vehicle almost clears the patch of wet earth, the mud beneath your feet slips and you fall face first into the cold muck. Losing you, the family begins to slide back as the wagon's weight wins. You pick yourself up and throw yourself at the wagon, helping the family to get it clear. They cheer and thank you, and even offer you some extra clothes to take. A shame the mud all over you already makes you feel damp to the bone. Earn 1 prestige. Okay. So we go to 2. You may swap one of your skill marks for a communication skill mark. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so what this is saying is that we could, because you always have 4 skill marks on your character board. If we wanted to, and I think we do, I think I want to round this character out a little bit more. So I think I'm going to remove a survival skill and take a communication skill. So that's cool. This random event has given us the opportunity to already, on the second turn of the campaign / adventure in this world, change our character a little bit. The reason I want to do this is because this opens up more dice on this half of the skill board. Okay. Give 56 to the character. There are multiple 56s. Oh, great. Boomir's not having a great time here. Thanks to your recent adventures, you're cold to the bone, a walking ice cube. In skill checks, the number of dice you can use is reduced by 2. All right. Isn't that great? If you have warm, you can discard this, and this is another 3-turn thingy. So let's mark this in 3 days. So our skill checks are getting hard to accomplish with Boomir. We might just have to do some traveling. Maybe it's not a great time to work on our buried secrets thing after all. Maybe we should just travel and get rid of some of our bad statuses. It also says to return a drawn event to the bottom of the event deck. So that could happen again. And then we end the scene. So that is the end of Boomir's turn. Kiradai's turn. Her test of will is in Maratu here. I think she's just not going to travel. I think she's going to pick up the quest that the university wanted done. She's going to pick this. Oh, wait, she can travel after she picks up this quest. That's right. She can still travel. Thirst for knowledge. Our research group is in a continuous deficit, struggling to complete our projects. Millennium Foundation has generously funded us in the past, but now hesitates to continue doing so. Go see my contact, Urin, and vouch for us. Our whole team awaits your results. Soward, the Boreal Owl Professor of Astronomy. Hazembi. Where is Hazembi? Hazembi's down over here. Okay. I think I will keep quests, because you can only have 3, so let's keep quests on the top. We've got their special power, and then we've got these things that are impacting him. And we need to bring out another quest for our notice board up there in the public side. It is in Rheinstems, okay. Looking for a person for referee work. The job requires a keen eye and ability to follow the rules. So I think these are kind of, maybe they're supposed to be like little clues on what skills would be good to accomplish the quest, maybe. Do we want any more quests? Because there's another quest here. I don't think so. I think we will just move towards Maratu. We could do that and then maybe move towards here. We've got 1, 2, 3 in 4 more days. That's plenty of time, I think. So we will go on this road down here with our travel. Now we have to do a scene. So none of our quests here are available, so we got to draw the next event card. Is it a Friday? No. Are we in a settlement? No. Are we in grasslands? No. Are we in a forest? Yes. So we're going to do scene 158. And remember to hit the right keys on the keyboard. On a forest road, the playful roars and yells of children reach you. Coming up on your left is a house, fenced in by a low stone wall. Polecat children are playing in the yard. Both blocking the entrance gate and the road is a cart filled with felled trees. The father of the children is leaning against the cart, panting in exhaustion. He shuffles over to you. Could I borrow you? I got this new cart for work, but then I realized that it's too big to fit through my front gates. If you could watch my little troublemakers for me until I am done, I can get the work done in peace. He glances at the old gate pillars. Either that, or if you could help demolish those pillars while I watch the kids. Do you have a game tag? We have Shady, Thievery, Literature, Scholar, and Swim. No. So we can force the pillars up from the ground. We can recall childhood plays, decline to help. We're really good at these knowledge tests. Yeah, knowledge tests. So we will do that. Nothing special. All right, so for knowledge, we get 2 green, and we have 1 light blue adjacent. And this is a recall test. Nothing for recall. So we're looking for books here. We've got 1 book. That's not going to get it done. No. So we're going to do our massive reroll everything once per skill check. And we end up with 2. We should have done a lot better than that. Reveal outcomes on 1 or 2. You promise the father you will watch the kids while he works. Rounding up the children, you take them inside. Looking back on your own childhood, you recall the sloth game and teach it to the kids. You sit away from them, and they try to creep up behind you. If you look over your shoulder, they must remain still, just like a slow-moving sloth. If one reaches you, they win. Playing sloth fills you with a sense of joy and an eagerness to explore that filled your heart in your youth. Hours pass till their tired father comes in and pays you for the trouble. Thanks for playing with them. I managed to get one of the gate pillars pulled up. You gain 2 gold. Okay, so we go from 10 to 12. And I'm pretty sure the most gold you can have is 20. Gain 63 from the library. So we need to see if there are multiple 63s. There are. Are they all the same? Yes, they are. So this is actually a good status card. It's adventurous. You're curious and upbeat. What's inside that chest behind that hill or under that bush? You have no idea, but you can't wait to find out now. So this is like a one-time use card. On an unlock explorer search check, we can get a success. If the total successes is 4 or less, discard. So if we get a bad result, eventually we have to discard it. Okay, so that's cool. That's going to stay with our character until it gets discarded. Return the drawn event to the bottom of the event deck. In the scene. So this event card will go down here. That is the end of Caradine's turn. So we're going to, in the round, we go to Tuesday. Go to Tuesday. And we start over. Boomir is going to travel into Rheinstum. Do we want to pick up that quest? Looking for a person for referee work. Job requires a keen eye and ability to follow the rules. Keen eye is probably a perception thing. So, I mean, why not? We're here. Let's pick it up. This will be our third quest for now. Once again, we are faced with the selection of a new floating manager. Our organization is involved in the process of the selection of such an individual. As tradition says, that individual is selected by holding a trading competition, but we're low on judges. Come to our office to learn the ropes. And this is in Sarawar, which is way up over here. And if we abandon this quest, it just goes back to the notice board. Maybe the notice board can have more than 3. Oh yeah, because it just says if it has 2 or fewer. Oh, speaking of that, we have to place out a new thing. Yezden is the place which is up here. I have lost something very dear and close to me. Assistance in reacquiring it kindly requested. All right. We're not going to travel again. I don't know, or maybe we do. I don't know if it's a good idea to work on our buried secrets thing while... Oh, you know what? Did we get prestige? I think we got 2 prestige, right? And I didn't move us on the board. No, it just was gold. That's right. It didn't say anything about prestige. It just gave us gold. Okay, no, we did not get prestige. We got gold. Do we travel? The other thing I could do is while I'm here, I could... I think I will. I think I will hasten... so when do we do the thingies on the board? Timer token reaches day token, resolve the time to effect immediately. I'm going to do that, you know. I'm going to spend 2 gold. So go down to 8 to hasten on this card because I'm at a place that has the settlement tag. So this little thing down here gets moved up 1 and it reaches the day token. So this gets discarded. The wounded. So we like went to the doctor in town and we're going to put this back in the box. Okay, so that helps a little bit. But man, the freezing one is pretty bad. And it's going to be 2 days before that goes away because it's like 2 fewer dice. That's pretty rough. Is there like a place we could get warm? Because it says if you have warm, it's convention center, docks, wishing well. And our other quests are down here and all the way over here. We'll probably hold on to that one like for the next playthrough. Because on normal setup, not the very first game, you can choose where you start, I'm pretty sure. Let's try to do something different. So let's look at this wishing well scene. So we're going to stop our travels phase and We're going to do this. We're going to do scene 21. It's the wishing well here in Rheinstamm. There's the docks, the market, the arena, the convention center, and the casino also available in this town. I'm wondering if wishing well is going to maybe give us something. '21. As you arrive at Rheinstamm's old wishing well, you are greeted by the sights and sounds typical for a city's poorest district. Swindlers and beggars line the rundown houses, hollering at the busy folks going about their business in the square. Just about everything, houses, streets, and especially the folks, are covered in dirt. Curiously, folks seem to give the well itself, placed at the center of the square, a wide berth, likely out of respect or superstition. A squirrel street merchant is peddling her wares with her high-pitched voice, but sounds of commotion coming from the other end of the square draw your attention. Their voices rise steadily above the general clamor of the place. Do we make a wish at the well? Do we approach the squirrel merchant, or do we check out the ruckus? I mean, the merchant could be interesting. Check out the ruckus. I don't want to check out the ruckus. Make a wish at the well. I'm going to make a wish at the well, so that's going to cost us a gold. So we're down to 7. The wishing well is a rather simple structure. A modest platform complete with the most ordinary looking stone well, but it is clearly in a far better condition than surrounding houses. You approach it and look down, seeing nothing but darkness within. You pull a coin out of your pouch and toss it into the depths, watching as it plummets into the darkness. Does the library have card 279 available? I mean, it has to, right? Yes. Stay alert is a medium perception check. Uh-oh. Okay. So this is not going to be good because we're 2 dice down. Because we're freezing. We don't have anything in perception, but we do have thievery right next door. And we have our new communication. So we only get 3 dice. And we're looking for thievery stuff. In skill checks, the number of dice you can use is reduced by 2. Okay. So we're looking for eyeballs here. We got 1. It's better than 0. And this is stay alert. We've got recall, unlock, search, and intimidate. That might be the best we can do with 3 dice. We've got a 1 in 6 chance on here, 1/3 chance on here, and 1/3 chance on here. I think we're just gonna have to stick with it because we're freezing. Oh no, 0 and 1 is the same. You close your eyes and make a silent wish. After a moment, you hear an odd sound behind you. Turning around, you see a hooded figure, a cat of some sort, snickering as he inspects a familiar-looking coin purse in his hand. You check for your own, finding nothing, but your sudden movement causes the thief to look up in round-eyed surprise before bolting off into the crowd. Great. You could run after the thief or forget about him and leave. Medium survival check. Well, we're just not going to forget about him. That's not going to happen. So we're going to run after him. So we still only get 3 dice. You know what? I do not want to lose all of my money. So, because this is a survival check, I'm not sure how this interaction works, but we're going to use our card. Before revealing outcomes, you may discard to replace your dice pool with the dice below. Roll them and use the result. Skill check's number of dice you can use is reduced by 2. So I'm going to do this in the most punishing way possible and reduce these cards, or I'm sorry, reduce these dice. So I'm using our special here. So we get 2 orange, 2 yellow, and 4 black. I'm going to reduce it by 2 black and just get 2 black, 2 yellow, and 2 orange. And this is going to be discarded, so it goes back into the library. We're going to get it back for next game, though. So this is better than only having 3 dice, and we're looking for the little tent symbols. And we don't have anything that will help us like during run checks. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a medium check. I think I'm going to be happy with 4. I don't think I'm going to re-roll that. I can zoom in so you can see we got 1, 2, 3, 4. And reveal the outcomes. 3 plus. The thief is a fast runner, but you're faster. He tries to lose you in the narrow side streets, but you keep up. Just as you're about to catch him, he dives at a gap under a fence. However, the passage is way too small and he gets stuck after only pushing his head through. Okay, you win, he clamors. Just pull me out. You know, I got a brilliant idea, the thief says once free. I'm putting together an elite team for a big heist, and you're just what we need. Think about it. My brains and brawn, and your, whatever you do, he gives you your coin purse and some extra, and also an item he's acquired while running. After that, he starts following you around, whether you like it or not. You gain 3 gold. Okay, so from 7 to 10. So there's all kinds of things that could have happened just at this wishing well. And it's not like the wishing well's going away either. Give 248 from the library to the adventurer. There's only 1, so we'll look. Yeah, we can look at that now. Multi-tool. So it's blade and tinkering. With so many bits, you should almost always have a suitable tool. Almost. So unlock, fight, climb, and force checks. That will do something for us. Okay. Then give 279 from the library to the adventurer. Okay. So this is a like companion, Kessim. He's careless but has night vision, the clumsy master of stealth. Before thievery skill checks, roll the d12. And he could give us 2 negatives or 3 positive successes, depending upon the roll. And he has a quest, his master plan in Arhin. He goes away in 5 turns, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And then end of scene. So this is interesting. So this goes on top of the ending the day or ending the game thing. So if we wanted to do this quest with him, we'd either have to do it now or get him again some other point in the future. So the reason this is kind of interesting is if we had been one more day further and 5 would have put it like down here, he would have stuck around till the next time we played, because we would have ended the game before the token related to him came up. And this is also why it's important that they go on top of the tokens that are already there, because the discard effect for that companion will happen before the ending the game effect token happens. Okay, that ended Boomir's turn. We got another item and a companion that could give us potentially another quest. We still got 2 days though. I may just work my way down there and not worry about his buried secrets while we still have this dumb freezing thing, because then it will go away. All right, Karadai's turn, and we were traveling towards Maratu. So we're going to travel there. There is a quest available there. Help wanted to free the oppressed Arhin from the yokes of tyranny. Do you value personal rights and freedom? Help us bring about a new era of equality. I guess we'll pick it up. Rebel uprising. Arhin's ruling elite families have trampled us common folks for too long. No more should they be allowed to abuse our laws for their gains. It's time for a revolution. Join me and my hundreds of brothers and sisters in the march to end this tyranny. We must put them out of power. And that's back in Arhin. Join the revolution. It's interesting, that purple is showing up pretty blue on this camera. Okay, and then we have to take a new quest for the notice board. It is in Yezdan. Moving between cities and Galzyr is a pain. I have a solution, however. Just a simple courier service is needed to complete my plan. That's in Yezdan. A couple of quests up there to be taken. Okay, so we're done with our travel phase. We're doing our test of will. We are in Maratu. We're going to do the bottom of this as our scene. Visit the station. So it's 91. While approaching the ranger station, you eye the surrounding forest. As you recall, a lot of Sofron's behavioral evidence came from this place. He was always vague on the details, but you know he had some kind of study around here. Finding it could shed light on your squirrel friend and his mysterious will as well. A pair of polecat rangers runs up to you. You Kiradai? One asks. Some Ahinir asked us to help you. Let's go find that cottage or whatever. Ah, there's the polecat spirit you always found so fascinating, always ready to explore the unknown. Apparently, these two think they can find the adventurers they crave here in the wood. Find the adventures they crave here in the woods. But you won't back down from a challenge either. You only need to pick up the best approach. If you explore, you may re-roll up to 2 dice. So we can explore, which is a survival, or we can ask around the station, which is medium. So this is interesting. We're going to explore because this gives us a re-roll of 2 dice, but we also have our black hat, which gives us another 2 re-rolls. So it's not our best skill. We do have 2 adjacent dice, but we get quite a few re-rolls. Oh, also our adventurous card on Explore is going to give us an automatic success. But if we get 4 or less, we have to get rid of this card. So this is why you got to like look around at your cards, at all your tags, to see what you have available, because like here, this is a good situation where this quadrant over here, we would get 4 special dice instead of just 2. But we got a lot of dice manipulation with our Explore the Forest here. So let's build our dice pool. We start with 5 black dice, but we get 2 adjacent here. And so we've got 1 massive reroll that we could do. So if this first roll doesn't look good, we'll probably just do our big massive reroll up front, and then start our individual dice rerolls. Actually, that's not bad. I'm not going to do our massive die reroll because we've already got that. So now we just start re-rolling over here. We will use our black hat, which allows us to re-roll up to 2. Okay, that's nothing. But the storybook also said we can re-roll up to 2. We need, we might lose our adventurous card here if we don't get this. Yeah, so that's not great. So kind of a bummer, but we got a total of 3 because we get 1 from our adventurous card. But we're going to lose the adventurous card because we get 1, but if the total is 4 or less, discard. I mean, so it helped us here. And we kind of got it on a little side event anyways, right? So adventurous goes away. But we did end up with 3. Ah, cool, which is the top one. With the polecats at your side, you dive into the forest like a newt into water, expertly scouting out every nook and cranny in the area. Soon you begin to notice signs of frequent travel, although appropriately faded by now. Then step into a tree hollow, you find some observational equipment, worn out but still functional. This must be the place. You may swap one of your skill marks for a perception skill mark. I don't think I want to do that because we already have one in perception. So it would just be like moving, or I guess I could move the communication one up there. Did I get the quest? Is this the one understanding the mind of potential sponsor? No. I don't think I'm going to move a skill mark around for her. The clearing you arrive in is beautiful. The pristine art, the pristine air is refreshing, as is the change of pace in the entire experience. Or should we say adventure? Perhaps the polecat spirit is contagious. Whatever it is, you've always appreciated new challenges. There are no cottages in sight, though, only pristine forests, or mostly pristine, as the rangers are busy observing the signs of life all over. It should be the right place, but perhaps there's something you're missing? If you observe, you can reroll up to 2 dice. Deduce the study's location. We're good at the knowledge, so we're going to stay with knowledge. We don't have anything that helps us with observe or deducing. So we're going to do the deduce. And we will replace one of these with light blue. So So we don't have any extra special rerolls or anything here either. And we're looking for books, and that is no books. Like, this is supposed to be our best possible check here. Our power of the mind wouldn't help here either. One book. That's probably not going to be a great result. Yeah. There's not much around, and try as you might, you can't comprehend why Sofron would want to stay in a place like this. Thankfully, the polecats can, as after a while they call your attention to a dwelling up in the trees, partly hidden by foliage. Entering the treehouse, you find scattered notes left behind by your friend. They discuss the experiments he ran here, trying to emulate ancient squirrels' archaic way of life. One of the notebooks mentions the discussions he had with you. There are many debates about how primal nature directs folks. Sofron writes that following your departure, he stashed something in his house in Rheinstum, in a hidden room. Perhaps you should pay that place a visit next. So I'm betting that we would have earned more prestige if we had rolled better. But so here we are going to get 1 prestige. So we return Test of Will Part 2, card 224, to the box. And then we take 225. If a partner had helped us out, but no one was here, they would have earned a prestige as well. In Marat 2, you located Sofron's study, if you can call it that. There you found notes, which again mentioned you, as well as a hidden stash in his home in Rheinstum. That could be what he dedicated to you in his will. You should pay a visit to find out. Okay. So we might be able to make it to Rheinstum. End of scene. So that's a couple days away. We also have this rebel uprising we could do here in Arhin. That's going to be the end of the day, though. So we move this to Wednesday. And then here, we'll move this to Wednesday. Go back to here. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer video because there was a lot of explaining and stuff that happened in this first one. It's Boomir's turn. We're in Rheinstum, and we have the Arhin one. I think I'm going to work on this Arhin stuff. I'm not going to advance his other story. So we're just going to travel down to here, and then we have to draw an event. Is it Sunday? No. Are we in a settlement? No. We are in grasslands, so 211. While traveling through the grasslands, your road brings you alongside a farmer's property where a mob of workers is arguing with a farmer who stands before a brand new steam engine that has been delivered, still strapped to wooden pallets. Being nosy, you step on over and ask the group what the yelling is about. That wretched machine, a dog worker barks. All of us farm hands will lose half of our work shifts because of that thing. On the defensive, the Fossa farmer buffs out his chest. I understand your position, but I'm sorry for you, but it is my farm and I paid for this machine. It's my choice how I run this place. This could get messy if you take part in it. Do you have a nibbler tag? Explorer, scent, cold, weary, careless, night vision, blade, tinkering, drink, reading. No. Side with the workers, side with the farmer, stay out of this. I don't want to do a check, I don't think, down so many things. I'm just going to stay out of it. Neither group is truly at the wrong, but both have cause to be upset. You see no clean way of resolving this, and decide that perhaps you should simply tend to your own business. Give your condolences to both sides. You tell them that they hopefully work something out. Continue along the road. The workers and farmer give the air a moment of peace, but after you leave, resume arguing. With the further distance you pick up, the sound of their vocal conflict is harder to hear. Until you travel far enough, they're no longer perceptible. Out of sight, out of mind. Return it to the bottom of the deck. Okay, I'm just trying to pass some time with Boomir to get rid of his freezing condition. And now we'll go to Kiradai's turn. So Kiradai has Rheinstein Quest, Hazembi, Thirst for Knowledge, or the Rebel Uprising back in Arhin. I think let's advance her main storyline, I guess. So 1, 2, also Grasslands. Is it a Thursday? No. On a settlement? No. Grasslands? Yes. 152. Travel takes you down a bending road that runs along a body of water. Ahead of you, a pelican combats with several fishing nets, all tangled together and riddled with branches. Saying hello to her, the pelican quickly looks up, and after recovering from the surprise, introduces herself as Rendika. I did not see you there, she explains in frustration, showing now how her feathers are tangled in the roping of the nets. They must have done logging yesterday, as now all these branches are in the water, and they have ruined my nets. Will you help me get them untangled? I have to catch something to feed my family. If you untangle, each blade tag gives you 2 successes. I have no blade tags. We're going to come up with another way to help, because that's books. Which should be yeah, which should be all these. Two books. This is a medium test. 2 books. I'm going to risk it and just re-roll that. I should do better than that. And I could regret this. No books. Wow. You announced you can figure out a solution to this mess. The pelican stares up at you, waiting for your revelation. Well, what are you thinking? Rendika asks, anxious for an insightful answer. You tell her you got nothing, and just leave her there as you wander away. Return it to the bottom of the deck. End of scene. And that's going to be the end of the day, so I'm just going to advance this to Thursday. So we got nothing. Okay, that was a quick day. So here, we advance this to Thursday. We end up on this little thing, which means we can get rid of our freezing condition. Back to the box. So our bad rolls from earlier are no longer going to be hurting us. Okay, we're going to move here into Arhin. And then the scene that we're going to do, I think we will do, let's do this one first. We're going to go to the party. So our scene's going to be 203. At the doors of the Blue Mill Mansion, an elderly wall lizard butler answers. Invitation, please. You hand it over and you're let inside. House guards relieve you of any weapons, storing them in the foyer for the duration of your stay. The butler guides you to a ballroom where an ensemble of rich folks are dining. The two Blue Mill polecats, Grand Mistress Rudana and Grand Master Bacolar, are a degree overdressed beyond their lavish peers. Taking a break from sucking up the adoration of their guests, they ask who you are. You lie about being a building inspector from Rheinstum. The Blue Mills let you have the run of the place. You need to decide what is the best way to scout the place out. You cannot use any weapon items. I don't have anything with a weapon tag. If you convince, each boaster tag gives you 1 success. Explorer sent, so we do not have any boaster tags. Convince a servant to show you the house is a medium. Communication. We can search for servant clothes is easy perception. Well, we have skills next to, we have 2 dice next to perception. What are this? Convince and search. Oh, with monocle we get a success on search. Unlock, fight, force. We're gonna do the search because we get an automatic success for that. We're gonna do search. Okay. So what is that? That's perception. So we're going to get a light blue and a pink and then another black. Looking for eyeballs, and we automatically get 1 success. 1, 2, 3 on an easy test. I think we'll just stop there. Able to find a laundry room quite quickly and switch into the garments of house servants. You also find small scissors that could be of use for you if you wanted to take it. You go to search the mansion for the millstone. Your disguise works as house guards and staff pay you no heed. You can swap one of your skill marks for a thievery skill mark. I think I'm okay. You end up in the servants' dining room on the 2nd floor. The older wall lizard who was at the door is here now, eating his lunch. He introduces himself as Urnion, and you trade small talk with him. Ormion mentions that the dumbwaiter is in this room, which is broken, leads up to the collection room above. He complains about how he has to deliver things on foot up the narrow stairwell to that room, having to lock and unlock it with his keys every time he does. You cannot use weapon items. Steal the keys to open the door or climb upstairs via the shaft. We have nothing. Oh, so we do have the guy with us, Kisum, who before a thievery skill check, we can roll the die, and that could help us. He could help us get some successes. Search, intimidate, unlock, recall, unlock, fight, climb. We've got 1 reroll on a climb. I think we're going to do the thievery check. So we get a pink and an orange. But we also need to roll this d12, and on a thievery check, on a 1 through 3, this is going to give us 2 negative successes. We got an 8, which gives us 3 positive successes. So this should be fairly simple. So with this, we're at 4. I'm just going to re-roll that. We're already at 3. I think we can do better. Man, I need to learn my lesson on the re-rolls. Oh man, 4 was the top one. It takes you several subtle grabs before you nick the keys from Urmion. He fails to notice what has been taken from him and leaves once he is done with lunch. You creep up the narrow stairs and use the keys to unlock the collection room. Inside one of the many treasures is the millstone. You have the chance to inspect it, but a growing rumble downstairs concerns you. You decide to check it out. The mansion is eerily quiet now. Peering downstairs, everyone else has congregated in the ballroom. You overhear a report that a Wolverine guard captain delivers to the Blue Mills about how a marmot, fitting Araltai's description, broke into a safe and stole military documents, then escaped out of a window into the city. Rudana rages at the intrusion, while Balkolar curses about how Jemsed has been trying to get those military documents for years. You assume Araltai hired you as a diversion, and her real goal was getting these papers. Should we pursue her? Sorry, I'm on complete wrong screen. Should we pursue her? Yes. You're determined to get back at Araltai. She hired you, knowing her job was a sham and had no intention of paying you. She was going to let you take the fall while she makes the escape. You leave the mansion in a hurry, getting your weapons back. You question folks on the street if they saw a gray marmot run through here, and they point to the docks. Running there, you talk to a shoebill harbor master, telling her there is a gray marmot who might be a Jemsedian spy that came this way. Concerned, the shoebill tells you she saw such a marmot, who got into a boat and sailed away a short while ago. The bird lets you take a boat after her, promising to contact the proper authorities while you give chase. Earn 1 prestige. This is Boomir, right? Earn 1 prestige. Return collector 134 to the library. Give 62 to the adventurer and 65. So 134. Goes back in. Get 62. And 165. End of scene. 62 is determined. Resolute and upbeat. A skill check, you can discard it to get a success. If you are afraid, discard it. So this is just like a one-time use card that we can use to get a success. And then we also have this. This is isolated. Araltai the Collector used you as a diversion to steal sensitive documents from the Blue Mills, one of Arhin's ruling families. Wanting her to face the consequences of her actions, you begin your pursuit. When gained and during setup, place your figure on this card. So we're not going to be able to do the other Arhin quest next turn because apparently we are on a boat over here now chasing that marmot. It's now Kiradai's turn. We are just traveling to Reinstam, and we are going to visit Sofran's home, which is Storybook 95. Sofran's home lies near the market at the cross-section of the city's rich and poor, an apt location for behavioral study. One such opportunity is just occurring right at the front door, where a small crowd of mostly polecats and raccoons surrounds a lone gorilla. "Let us in already," a raccoon shouts. "The owner's long gone." He points at the nailed-shut windows. "I told you," the gorilla says. "I was paid to hold the key for someone, and that's what I'll do." You ask if that someone is Kiradai, and her eyes widen in surprise. "Wait, I'm Kiradai," a voice from the crowd shouts. "No, I'm Kiradai," another retorts. Chaos ensues, leaving you without an option to try to talk sense to the gorilla. Snatch the key from the gorilla, force a window open, or pay for the key. We don't really have any tags, but we do have this thing with the Life in the Shadows book that allows us in thievery skill checks to re-roll. Those are medium checks or just pay for the key. We're not good at fighting, so forcing open a window is not going to be great. Thievery is also not great. I think we're just going to pay for the key. 5 gold. So we go down to 7. Pride has a curious effect on behavior, but so does currency. All you need to do is resolve the situation is to make a better offer, which the gorilla readily accepts. Why didn't you think of that? An exasperated raccoon asks another as he follows you to the door. You know, I have no money, he retorts, or the smarts, but she does. Let's go. The inside is as dusty as one could expect, with only modest furniture adorning the place. The crowd is already busy checking out the place and tapping on the floorboards. You'd have to find the hidden room before them, unless you want your findings to be tampered with. But how? Search the place's perception, or think like a squirrel, is hard. We're having bad luck with the books, but we're gonna try it. See if our luck can change. This should be one of our best skill checks. I guess communication is probably our best one, actually. We're not getting a ton of prestige. Holy cow. No books, 4 communication. So we're going to do our one big reroll. One book, are you kidding me? This is not going to go great. Wander around trying to put yourself in your late friend's shoes, but he was certainly an eccentric mind, and you feel like you miss stops all over while trying to follow his train of thought. When you finally think you've arrived somewhere, you hear someone play an accordion, poorly, somewhere above you. Near the old fireplace, one of the raccoons jumps up and down from a hidden attic he's found, with the instrument in hand. No, jumps down from a hidden attic. Heading up yourself, you find what's still left of Sofron's hidden stash. Near the pile, you see a discarded letter on the ground. It's dedicated to you. Kiradai, my friend, I know your inquisitive nature will lead you here, but that's what your folk are known for, after all. That makes you a great scholar, but that's not all you are. That's not all you have to be. We may be distant, but perhaps you've now realized we can become whatever we want in our own ways. Go and see. Adventure like the polecats. I know their ways always fascinated you, but learn from my folk as well and prepare for the challenges ahead. You start the letter as the gears in your mind turn. He's right. You've always pushed against convention, looked for new approaches, and searched for the greatest challenge. But perhaps your greatest challenge was always becoming what you've always wanted to be deep within. You don't know, but you're yearning to find out. That is your will. You turn to the stash your friend left you. Time to see what Kiradai the adventurer should look like. You earn 1 prestige, so up to 4. You may swap 2 of your skill marks for any other skill marks. Return test of will from the adventurer to the library. Okay, so that's the end of her starting quest stuff. 225 goes back into here. And now Kiradai is just adventuring off of stuff in the world. Partner earns a prestige, no partner helped. That'll be the end of the day, so let's just advance it to Friday on here. Advance it to Friday on here, but we can swap 2 skills if we want. I think I'm going to keep knowledge up, but I'm going to swap this communication for a might just to get something on the other side of the possible skills. So just swapping one. And I think I will stay as like a knowledge type expert. Unless, let me look at this quest that she has. This one kind of seems like a communication thing. A Rebel Uprising, I'm not sure what that one will be about. All right. So that ends that day for Kiradai. Okay, I need to throw in a real quick break. I'll throw in a cut here and I will be right back. All right, I'm back from the break. So let's go back to Boomir's turn. Off the board, isolated. Can't really travel, so has to do this mandatory quest that's on this card. 204. Which means we're probably not going to be able to do this one that we got with this companion, because now we're no longer in Arhin. But we shall see where this actually ends up taking us. Did I say it was 204? The craft the harbor master assigned to you is sleek and fast, and within 2 hours of sailing you get Aralti's sailboat in sight. She has taken her craft close to the shore, moving at a blithe pace. Weaving leisurely between rocks in the shallows, she must not expect any dogged pursuit. If you do not want to lose her, you could follow behind her in the wake of her boat, avoiding the rocks as she does. Or you could sail wider into open water, moving faster without having to navigate obstacles, and try to cut her off. Each sailor tag gives you a success. We have no sailors. Observe the rocks and sail near the coast is an easy perception. Or we can recall how to ride the wind. We get, it's pretty much the same type of dice. So there's recall and observe. We could discard a refreshing juice to get a success on a recall test. And to reroll up to 2 dice. In a skill check, you can discard this to get a success with our determined card. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to recall how to ride the wind. It's a medium check. So we're going to get a yellow die and a blue die. Three black dice. And if we need to, after we roll, we can use our juice here. To get some rerolls, and if we also need to, we can get rid of this card to get a success. So we're looking for books, even though we have no green dice here. Looking for books. We ended up getting 2 books. You know what, I'm going to toss our refreshing juice. So that gives us a 3rd success, and we can re-roll 2 dice. So re-roll up to 2 dice. I don't know if these have to be rolled simultaneously. I'm going to say that they do. Okay, so that's 3 plus the one that we got is 4. Should be good on a medium test. So let's add this back to the library. What did I say? We got 4, okay. Oh man, 5 plus? Bummer. Remember enough sailing techniques that you can read the wind and adjust your sail to the right spot to catch a full breath of wind into it. It propels you forward a healthy distance, and you cross the gap between you from Aratai's head start. Finally, across from her, you take your boat into the rocky shallows. Aratai, seeing you now, tries to speed up, but it's too late to escape. You're close enough to her now to force a confrontation to bring an end to this whole farce. Aratai is within mere meters of you. Her eyes, worried and frantic, dart all around, looking for a way out. She steers into choppier waters, making it harder for you to board her, trying to buy herself precious minutes. With the larger and rougher waves, it would be too dangerous to fight across boats, and the boat too unsteady to line up a shot. It would be better to get onto her boat, or better yet, if you can get her to just give up. So we've got easy communication, which is not great for us. Medium skill. So that's climb, intimidate. With intimidate, we automatically get a success from our monocle. And that one is supposedly easy. We could climb. Climb just gives us a reroll. We also still have our determined card that we can just discard to get a success. I think we'll do the intimidate. We get better dice on the climb though. But it's also an easy check. I wonder if we have the possibility of getting more prestige the harder the check is. That's an interesting thing to think about. I was going to go with the automatic success that we have on intimidate checks. So the only die that we get is our blue one. But we are coming at this with 1 success already. So we need the faces, we need communication here. That's cocked. So we've got 1. I think I'm just going to re-roll everything. Still 1, so that's 2. Because we get 1 automatically. And I'm going to discard our determined to get the 3rd one. Or to get a 3rd one. Or am I think I'm okay with 2. It's an easy check. We'll go with 2. You tell Aratai that if she does not give herself up, that you will have to ram and sink her vessel. Even if she makes it to shore, it will be a lot of land to cross before she can reach, Jem said. It is plain in her eyes that she is calculating her odds, and when her expression worsens, you both know that it is over. Before that over is reached, she tosses the papers into the water, destroying them out of spite. Grumpily, you board her boat and tie the Grey Marmot up and sail back to Arhin. There, our Hinier agents are waiting to take Aratai into custody, informed by the harbor master who you spoke to earlier. For your heroic deed, the agents reward you and give you high praise. Earn a prestige. So we're both at 4. You gain 3 gold, so that's cool, up to 13. Move the adventurous figure to Arhin. Cool, so we can still do our other thing. Return pursuit 165 to the library. 165. and then take 163 from the library and place it at the back of the quest slot. So this is the other cool thing, is that as you do things in the world, like what we just did, that added a new quest to this quest slot, so that eventually that will come up in the notice board up here, and that obviously has something to do with the story that just transpired from this thing that we just did. So that's cool, and that's end of scene. Now it's Kiradi's turn. She is done with her like starting quests. So what does she else? She has the Hazembi thing, which is way over here, and the Rebel Uprising, which is down here. She's got 7 money. Market library. I mean, I guess we have enough time for. We can also get some Yezdan stuff up here. I've lost something very near and dear. Close to me, assistance is requiring family requested. Moving between cities is a pain. This sounds actually kind of cool. I think I want to go pick up this quest before the next game session starts. So Kiradai is going to move 2, and will be in the mountains, so it has to take a quest card. Is it Wednesday? No. Settlement? No. Grasslands, forest, hills, mountains is the bottom one. 66. Blizzarding winds attack you while traveling a road that cuts through the mountains. Some blessed soul has taken efforts to keep the path clear of snow, but off the road is a forest drowned in growing wet mounds of freezing powder. While struggling against the winds, they carry a sound to your ears, a distant roar perhaps, or a cry for help. Where or what could it be coming from? Follow the sound. Your curiosity guides you off the road and into the mounds of snow. With the snow reaching up to your knees, it takes time to wade through it, but the sound doesn't stop. It continues on, guiding you to its source of origin. With time, you make the sound out to be words, yells of distress. They lead you to the mouth of a cave, which has been shut by recent rockfall, with one immense boulder choking the cave closed. Please help, a female voice calls out from inside the cave. I'm trapped in here. Is anyone there? Please. Do you have a pick tag? No. Lift the boulders away from the entrance, or figure another way to help. We're going to figure out another way to help. Eventually, we're going to roll good with her book stuff. Figure, we have no tags. Yes, so we are going to get the 2 green dice and 3 black dice. If I make it a survival check instead, I could add an orange dice, and then I would be looking for the tents. What kind of, this is medium? I would just go with this. 2 books. It's a medium check. We've got 2 books. I've learned my lesson on re-rolling, I think. I think we'll be happy with 2 books. You dip down to your knees and brush some snow away from the mouth of the cave, and in doing so find the destroyed remains of a pickaxe. From this, and spotting the wooden support pillars at the mouth of the cave and dilapidated shed nearby, you deduce this is an old mining site. If so, any tools that could help would have only survived the decay of time if stored in the shed. Checking there, you find a pry bar. You run back and use it to wedge the boulder enough that it rolls out of the way. Inside, you find a starving bear, who you help to her feet. I'm here to, she dizzily greets. I've heard that animal folk hibernated through winter in the past. I had to see if we could still do it. She thanks you and takes off, heading to the nearest inn to grab a bite to eat. You earn 1 prestige, return the drawn event to the bottom of the event deck. End of scene. Okay, so let's go to Saturday on here. Get Kira Dice Prestige. Go to Saturday on here. And this is our last day. So, Boomir does not need to travel. We're already in Arhin. We're just going to do Kessem's master plan. 186. Kessem takes you to one of Arhin's alleyways. There, a stinking, malnourished, wet, snaggle-toothed Burmese cat is asleep. Kessem introduces him as his genius partner, Rascal. You start to have doubts about this venture. Kessem wakes the vagrant and asks him to explain the plan. Get glass living ne Passover. Dar things that no thinking be good but rarely good. You didn't catch that. Kessem shows you around the corner to a mansion adjoined by a greenhouse. We've scoped out this apothecary's house for months. It holds items that have a secret value. We found 2 ways in. Do we head to the mansion or head to the glass greenhouse? This guy's careless. I don't know if glass greenhouse is a good idea. Let's just go to the mansion. You say the mansion is the best way in. Rascal nods. That Denver be the right choice. He agrees with you, Kessem translates. At the mansion, Rascal briefs you on its entrance points. Din true dat, diff you bop de look, or up and top and looky glass go through. Kessem points to a heavily locked side door or a window on the 2nd floor you could climb to. Do you have a toxic tag? Upbeat, resolute, night vision, careless, tinkering, blade, reading. No. Unlock the door is hard, or climb to the roof. We get a bunch of rerolls on unlock stuff because of our monocle and our multi-tool. Plus it's a thieving check, so Kessem's gonna give us the D12 roll. So let's try to unlock the door. So let's do our D12 roll. On a 6, that's gonna give us 3 successes to start with because of Kessem's ability. And on thieving, we get this, and 3 black. And our cards give us a 1 die reroll and a 2 die reroll on unlock checks. So we're starting at 3. Oops, 4, 5. And now let's do a 2 die reroll from our multi-tool. And a 1 die reroll. Nope. That was from the monocle. So we've got 3 here. 3 from Kessem is 6. So no gunpowder was used. 5 plus. With skill and speed, you undo the lock without raising a racket. A wide smile spreads across Kessem's face. Oh, you're a natural. And coming from a master thief, you know that to be high praise. Rascal makes a noise of pleasant surprise. Oh no, ood bin s. Snooka slunk asked Migo ode poppy. I have no idea what he's saying. Unsure of how to respond, you just nod and pat the cat's greasy matted head. Your group enters the house and Kessem leads you through it to the greenhouse. 3 stories of exotic plants leave you in awe as you move through the greenhouse. It wouldn't surprise you if every plant in the world was here. Kessim informs you this is the bounty of his plan. He and Rascal go about, and they empty potted plants along with garden tools into their sacks. You pick up on the idle chatter of folks moving from the main house to here. With the good time you have to prepare, you must decide how you're going to deal with them. If you recall, each scent tag gives you a success. And Boomir does have a scent tag. Recall your plant knowledge, but he's not the best on that. Fight the employees would be okay. And we don't really have any other tags to help that. I think I'm going to recall though. It's medium, but we get a success from this. We have our determined card that we can discard if we roll poorly. So for this check, we're going to get a yellow and a blue and 3 blacks. And we're starting with 1 success because of our scent tag. That's here on his board. Okay, we got 1 book. I think I'm going to re-roll all of them. It's a medium check. Still 1. I think I'm going to discard our determined card to get it to 3. I don't know on a medium check if there's that much difference between 2 and 3, but we shall see. No, there wasn't. Bummer. Recall that Astrolameria is an irritant to the skin. With a garden this elaborate, you must be able to find some here. A gold dust day gecko enters into the garden and gasps, "Why are you robbing my greenhouse?" He calls for his servants to stop you, which summons a tree frog and a turrico. You spot a massive Alstroemeria nearby. You move to it and wrestle with the staffers, rubbing as much of the plant on them as possible. They give up fighting you to madly itch themselves and each other. You neeb and dis, Rascal claims as he tosses you an item from a nearby shelf. Time to get going. You flee the property with the robbers. Kessim pants his thanks for helping him pull off the heist. You earn a prestige. So we're both at 5. Return Kessim from the adventurer to the library. Okay, so Kessim's going back in. Give 246 from the library to the adventurer. 246. Okay. Bouquet. More sentimental individuals can easily be swayed with a colorful gift. The fresher, the better. On a convince check, you get 1 success for each day left in the timer box below. Wow. And this is going to stick around, actually, till next game because there's no more time. And then the partner would earn a prestige. End of scene. Okay, that was Boomir. And now Kiradai. We'll go here to Yezdan. It's going to pick up this quest. Moving between cities and Galzyr is a pain. I have a solution, however, so let's see what it says. High Hopes Part 1. I got an idea from this large basket I found for cheap. Strap on a fabric bag along with a burner and we have a vehicle capable of transporting folk from city to city. There are suitable burners in Rheinstum. Drop by the bank and take a modest loan in my name before meeting the seller, and we're all set. So go to Rheinstum and visit the bank. Wrong person. Then we have to replace that. So now this one is on Arhin. I came to Galzyr for a little vacation. Trip was already well planned, and I love me some company. Karamia the Gila monster. So we traveled once, picked up a quest. We are in Yezdan. Let's see what happens at the market. This place has a market. So for our scene, Kiradai is going to go to the market. 003. There's a spiritual serenity to the markets of Yezdan. The locals are soft-spoken and present themselves with a sacred calm and kindness that spreads to outsiders conducting business here. A books and apparel store has a sign out offering a flash special. Buying from there will get you a free mystery item. Do you have a mount tag? No. Among the many different vendors, there is a jackal advertising for a stable that lets you rent mounts. What is it that you're looking for today in the market? Rent a mount before shopping? Weapons and camping equipment? Books and apparel with a free gift. I wonder why this is sparkling like this. That's interesting. I wonder if this flash special, I wonder if this is like a random thing that happens at markets in the game. Okay, so we're going to go to books and apparel because it obviously is something special. The market has many stands selling fine garments and rare books. They are most frequented by the city's rich, but one booth staffed by 3 identical-looking polecats calls out to you. One of them holds up each item for you to inspect, as the next tells you the price, and the last holds up a mysterious package. Take 151 and 3 random 150 from the library and place them face up in front of the adventurer. You may purchase any number of these items by paying their value. You may also sell your items for half of their value rounded up. Okay, so we're going to take card 151 and 3 random 150 cards. So 151, assorted gear. Knowledge is half the battle. Looking good doesn't hurt either if you're trying to make an impression. When purchased, immediately discard to swap one of your skill marks for... Wait. Oh, we don't get this. This is something that's available. Okay, so for 3 gold, this is basically giving us the opportunity to swap skills if we want to. Okay. Maybe we should. Books have not been great. Okay, the other stuff that we could buy is going to be you, and you. Perfume for 6 gold. Fancy aroma. On convinces, we get a success. On sneaks, we can reroll up to 2 dice. You can discard to get 2 successes as well. Self-defense manual. In combat skill checks, you can reroll up to 1 and convert a book into a success. That's very similar to the other book that we have. It's just combat instead of thievery. And a flute. On recall and convince, you can reroll up to 3 dice. I think I'm going to sell this Life in the Shadows book. It's 5, and what does it say? You can sell your items for half their value, rounded up. So we would get 3 gold for this. So that's going to take us to 10. And this is also a 150, so that goes back in here. Intimidate, we automatically get a success. For our black hat. I want to buy this flute, so that's going to cost us 6 gold. Takes us down to 4. Which means we could afford the assorted gear, but I'm not going to. We'll put the rest of these cards back. So we bought this flute, a weird looking instrument played by the local polecat folk. With enough patience, you can make somewhat non-irritating sounds with it. And continue. Did the adventurer partner purchase anything? Yes. As was advertised to you, the merchant gives you a parceled item from behind the counter. No idea what is inside, but that's part of the excitement. Don't shake it too much though. Just to be safe, nothing fragile is in there. You thank the merchant and leave with your purchase and your freebie. Give card 247 from the library to the adventurer. If unavailable, random 150 instead. So 247. Mystery present. Shaking of presents rarely gives any hints of their contents. Lemurs, however, are rather gifted at figuring out what's inside with frightening accuracy. You may discard to roll a d12. Take card 20 plus the rolled value from the library. If unavailable, take a random 150 instead. Or on a convince test, you can discard it to get 3 successes. Oh, so we're trying to give somebody this to help convince them of something. I'm just going to discard it now. Why not? And that's the end of the scene, so that's going to be the end of the game. I'm going to discard it now. So let's roll a d12. So 20 plus 11 is 31. So I need to look for card 31 if card 31 is available. So 247. Yes, card 31. Oh boy. Is a lucky relic charm. Some believe in fate and fortune. Some want to forge their own destiny. Confidence or lack thereof matters more than one might imagine. So on sneak, force, and climbs, we roll a d12 and we have 2/3 of a chance of getting extra successes and 1/3 chance of hurting ourselves, but we can also sell it. That's worth 8 gold. Okay, so that's the last day. That moves to here, and then we do this. Storybook entry 200. Or adventurer book, whatever it's called. After all the excitement, challenge, and adventure, it's time to unwind for a moment and reflect on your travels. How many adventurers were in this game? 2. How many of you have an isolated tag? We got rid of the isolated tag. That was the boat thing. You 2 adventurers decide to punctuate your recent escapade properly and head to an inn to celebrate and trade tales of your personal epics. A nearby inn should suffice for this night of revelry. You find one whose lights are on and is rumbling with the sounds of laughter and music. Throwing open the door, you enter inside. Festivities lull for a second as everyone impulsively casts their gaze at the door. If you agree, you can collectively pay and choose to throw a party. You may also trade golden items during this scene. Throw a party. We've got 17 gold. No, we'll celebrate alone. How much prestige did you get in total? We have 10 combined. Your group enters the inn, where a few stares linger on you until everyone returns to their drinks. You get a side table and put an order in, then discuss among yourselves about how your adventures went. The stories between you are all in review lackluster. Overhearing you, a polecat plods over to your group. I think I know you louts. He repeats a half-remembered story his sister told him about an encounter she had with one of you. It's not the most glamorous praise, but at least someone in the world has heard of you. You are recognized. What does that little four-finger thing mean? Rules in the Book of Adventures affecting everyone. I don't know if that actually means anything. I don't think so. Okay, end of game. Yeah, we did not do great on our rolls. Okay, so perform the following steps to save the game. Remove all timer tokens from the calendar. Excuse me. And cards without resolving their timed effects. Yeah, so the bouquet is not going to go away. Resolve all the save effects on the adventurer boards and cards in play. The only save effect we have is to get our special power back that we used from Boomir, I think. Oh, January is supposed to be replaced. Yeah, so January at the bottom says replace it with February. We'll get Boomir's card back. Put this in here. February comes out. And then we put all the components back in the box. Okay, so that ended up being a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but I was explaining a lot of stuff that I'm not going to do in future videos. So I'm not going to belabor any of this. That was fun. This game really is just story. It's like walking around, looking at the story and watching how the world evolves. There's the quests. As you complete quests, is going to add more quests in here. There are more location cards in this deck that I saw when I was sleeving them, so things on this board are obviously going to change. They're not going to stay the same forever. If we would have gotten more prestige, something at the end might have been different. Who knows? Oh, this is supposed to be at the bottom of the event deck. Okay, so that's it. That's Lands of Galzyr. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. I hope you enjoy everything that I put up on the channel, and I will see you in the next one.